Buru's Funeral Home, a leader in the funeral industry for over 25 years, is now at number 2 Southern Main Road, Cunupia. At Buru's, you are assured quality service and affordable funeral packages so that your loved ones get the send-off they deserve. Buru's can ship and receive worldwide. When the inevitable occurs, you can rely on Buru's Funeral Home, funeral directors and embalmers. Now at number 2 Southern Main Road, Cunupia. 24-hour service available. Phone 370-8036. Buru's Funeral Home, a leader in the funeral industry.
Harnarine Singh. Members of the Guru family, what we should sympathize at this time, we begin the ceremony. Antishti Sanskar. Final rites, final Sanskar to perform. For some of the Hindus, we all stand here, the subject can stand, we cannot stand, we are seated. Let us pray that Lord was our prevailing powers, who has the powers to grant salvation to all departed souls. Om Hari Om Hari Om Hari Om Mapavitra Parashava Sarvastam Lato Pivaya Smare Pundarikaksham Chakandara Suchyam Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Om Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanavam Suresham Vishwanaram Gaganasadrisham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmi Kantam Kamalavainam Yogi Virjanagamyam Vande Vishnu Bhavaiharam Sarvadokaikanaatam Om Yam Brahma Varunindra Rudra Marutaha Studvanti Divyastavair Vidaisanga Parakramupanishadair Gayantiyam Samara Dyanavastitadargatina Manasa Pashyantiyam Yoginu Yasyantamana Vidu Sura Sura Devaya Tasave Nama Om Sri Paramatmani Namaha. We vow the affirmation of all his rights. Om Vishnu Tikrim, the name of the disease. Om Vishnu 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 Namaha. Paramatmani Siddhi Purana Purushottamsya Vishnu Ragya Vartamanasya Agya Brahmanu Hindu Ityatra Haralve Sri Srivara Kalpeva Yasottamantari Ashtavishatame Kalivide Kalpatam Charno Atlantic Mahasagar Trinidad Deshi Kumutyagrami Baudavatari Samatsari Surya Dakshina Uttar Govasri Savan Masa Sukla Paksha Sri Dvadashi Tithi Gurvar Data Yoga Sri Purvashara Nakshatra Dhanrasi Sri Ayushman Yog Balaukaran Yata Lagna Yata Muhurat Ivadin Jajmanam Kanamasya Angurota Sakrionesis Amukabretasya Antishikaram Aham Ganeshasya Om Jai Krishna Arpana. It's every box. That's the beginning ceremony. Water. Just touch hands. Touch hands. Offer water. Om Adya Amukudasya Amukupetasya Mishtistani Shavanat Snanam Mediti Topachatam Snanam Mediti Topatishtatam Chandanam Om Adya Amukudasya Amukupetasya Mishtistani Shavanat Gandam Mediti Tusam Gandam Mediti Topatishtatam Om Adya Amukudasya Amukupetasya Mishtistani Shavanat Gandam Mediti Topatishtatam Gandam Mediti Topatishtatam Mala, vowels, Om Oritural Mala Adya Amukudasya Amukupetasya Mishtistani Shavanat Pushpamala Mediti Topatishtatam 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 Om Adya Amukudasya Amukupetasya Mishtistani Shavanat पुष्पमाला निर्दितो प्रतिष्ठितां आद्या अमृतस्य अमृतस्य विशिष्टांशः पुष्पमाला निर्दितो प्रतिष्ठितां तो हमारा गीत आद्या अमृतस्य अमृतस्य विशिष्टांशः पुष्पमाला निर्दितो प्रतिष्ठितां 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 आद्या अमृतस्य अमृतस्य विशिष्टांशः दीपं निर्दितो प्रतिष्ठितां जमुनारे महागौरी अन्विना तमसावती तत्त्वलोकनाथ जमुदीप निर्दितो प्रतिष्ठितां जय कृष्ण हरे श्री कृष्ण हरे दुखियों को दुख दूर करे जय 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 कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे श्री कृष्ण हरे दुखियों को दुख दूर करे जय 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 कृष्ण हरे जब चार तरफ अंधियारा हो आशा का दूर किनारा हो जब चार तरफ अंधियारा हो आशा का दूर किनारा हो और कोई न केवन हारा हो फिर तू ही बेड़ा पार करो जय 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 कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे श्री कृष्ण हरे दुखियों को दुख दूर करे जय 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 कृष्ण हरे तू चाहे तो सब कुछ कर दे विष को भी अमृत कर दे तू चाहे तो सब कुछ कर दे विष को भी अमृत कर दे पूर्ण कर दे सबकी आशा पूर्ण कर दे सबकी आशा जो भी तेरा अंदरे जो भी तेरा ध्यान धरे जय 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 कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे श्री कृष्ण हरे दुखियों को दुख दूर करे जय 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 कृष्ण हरे तेरे दर्शन को मैं तरस रहा तेरे नाम की माला जपता रहूं तेरे दर्शन को मैं तरस रहा तेरे नाम की माला जपता रहूं भव सागर से मोरे नैया भव सागर से मोरे नैया चन में जाय किनारहु चन में जाय किनारहु जय 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 कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे श्री कृष्ण हरे दुखियों को दुख दूर करे जय 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 कृष्ण हरे Jai 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 Krishna Hare, Jai 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 Krishna Hare. Anybody else? Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram Kahiye, Jahe Vidhi Rati Rama, Tahi Vidhi Rahiye. Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram Kahiye, Jahe Vidhi Rati Rama, Tahi Vidhi Rahiye. मुख में हो राम नाम, राम से हाथ में, तू अकेला नहीं प्यारे, राम तेरे साथ में. मुख में हो राम नाम, राम से हाथ में, तू अकेला नहीं प्यारे, राम तेरे साथ में. विधि का विचार जान, हानि लव सही, जहाँ विधि राखी रामा, ताहि विधि रही. सीताराम 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 कही, ताहि विधि राखी रामा, ताहि विधि रही. किया अभिमान तो फिर मान ना पाएगा, होगा प्यार वो ही जो श्री राम जी को भाएगा. किया अभिमान तो फिर मान ना पाएगा, होगा प्यार वो ही जो श्री राम जी को भाएगा. पले आशा त्याग शुभ काम करते रहिए, चाहे विधि राखी रामा, ताहि विधि रही. सीताराम 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 कहिए, चाहे विधि राखी रामा, ताहि विधि रही. बोलिए वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय. Members of the family, precious advisors, and the Scriptural stand to be seated. Today, my wishes and sympathizers, I want to join with all of you all and extend my sympathy and condolences to members of the bereaved family. It is a very sad time in their lives. It's always a sad time in one's life when it begins and one passes on from this world, especially if someone who is the head of the family. But that is part and parcel of we receive when we take birth. When we take birth on this earth, the only thing that we are sure will happen to us is that we will die one day. We are not sure of anything else. We may have many desires, many wishes in this world, and many of them may not be accomplished. But one thing must happen to us: we will pass on from this world. None of us will remain between a stone and gather moss in this world. We have to take our exit one day. But yet still we know that. But when our near dear one passes on, we become sad, and we cry, and we lament, and sometimes some cry and lament uncontrollably. It is a sad time in your life, but it is not a good thing to cry out loudly when someone passes on. It keeps back the soul of the individual from its astral travel. We as a people must become knowledgeable of what death is about. This ceremony and the ceremonies that will continue after the day is known as Ashtishti Sanskar. It is a Sanskar. There are 16 Sanskar that Sanatan Hindus must perform in their life. 16. This one is the final. Some of us, or most of us, do not perform all 16. Some of us don't perform most of the 16. But when death occurs, this is a must. This sanskar must be performed. And sanskar entails performing of certain puja. And when you perform puja, you're supposed to fast. What is the puja we did? We did invocation to Lord Vishnu. We did the sankalpa, which is the affirmation, the confirmation, the vow that was made to perform the ceremony. And they did 5 Panchupachara puja, 5 steps of puja. You offer water, chandan, perfume, mala, and arati. 5 steps of puja. And when you do puja, you're supposed to do havan. In a few minutes time, we do the havan. And when you do havan, you have to do purnahoti. Like in a normal puja, purnamara, purnamidam, purnada, purnamudakshati. But in this ceremony, in a normal puja, the purnahoti is a coconut that you offer the burning fire. What is the purnahoti in this ceremony? The body is the purnahoti. That is the final offering that will be placed into the fire. And we have to purify that body. We have to purify that body to make those offerings, to be able to put that body into the fire. There are special mantras, special havan to perform when you do this offering. 34 ahuti must be offered into the fire. But 34 different parts of the body, you have to purify that body. One is sochati. Soch means to think. We commit sins with this body by thinking. In our mind, we perform and do wrong things. So the mind, as we perform sochati, different parts of the body must be purified before you put it into the fire. So for some people, they think that the ceremony, the funeral rites, and the after-death rites, that means Sanatana Dharma, is a joke, or some sort of simile. They don't understand, and they will not try to learn, they will not try to understand. What is the ceremony? And when you have to do puja, you're supposed to fast. But not everybody are vegetarians. Some people consume animal flesh. Some people consume alcoholic beverages. How do we fast? Some people are still young enough. They still have intimate relation between man and woman. So how do you fast? Your pundit will tell you how long you're supposed to fast for. I don't want to get in between you and your pundit. How many days he should fast for? That's up to you and him. But most of the time you don't fast the amount of days that you're supposed to fast for the ceremony. How do you make up for that time that you did not fast? By shaving your hair. The toxin from your body remains in your hair. If someone should die and they find the body sometime later, the body has decomposed, how do they identify that body? What do you use to identify the body? The hair does not be destroyed. They take the hair, they take care of the father and mother, and they that's the DNA test. And that will confirm the that is the individual. The toxin from your body remains in the hair. That is why you have to remove the hair from your head to perform the ceremony, because we do not fast the amount of days that is necessary. It is important to shave your head when near and dear one passes on. So today we gathered here to pay our final respects to the remains of the late Harnarine Singh, a man everybody knows as BoB-Bots, very popular in his time, and a man who read the Ramayana many times from beginning to ending. But no matter who you are, what you are in this world, we all have to pass this way. People say that we are all equal. Probably in rights, we are equal. As a citizen of a country, you have equal rights. But that don't make anybody equal to anybody. I am tall, some of you are medium height, some short. In fact, some of you are thin. Physically, we are not equal. Some people study a lot and have degrees behind the name, and some of us don't see it. Academically, we are not equal. Some people rich, some people middle class, some people are poor. Financially, we're not equal. Some people could pray, some people cannot pray. Spiritually, we're equal. What makes us equal? Nothing. The only time we become equal to one another is when our soul gets into oneness with God. When we get salvation, we are equal to the next person. Until that will happen, we are not equal. No matter what women liberation say, what world, all the different human rights in the world say, we are equal. That is only our rights as a citizen. And in some countries, you don't have that rights. So we are not equal. We must do what is right, what is prescribed in the scriptures. You know, in the Mahabharata, when there was a soldier, his name was Bhisham Pitama. Pitama means Aja, is the Sanskrit word for Aja. Bhisham's father, name was Santanu. He was a king. And he was married to Ganga, the river Ganga manifested as a human being. And he was married to her. But she told him before they got married, that if ever I give birth to a child, whatever I choose to do with that child, you must not stop me. Every time she gave birth to a baby, she was taking the baby and put the baby in the river, but she's Ganga. When this boy was born, he told her, don't do that. She said, I told you, you must not stop me when I do whatever with the baby. You said, don't leave me having the baby. And she went and she disappeared into the river. She merges her back into the river. The boy grew up, he was the son of the king, so he's the prince. He's the Juvraj, the crown prince. As he grew up, he saw on every evening his father's holy chariot. And the chariot was taking the chariot and he was come back in the dark. One day he asked his father, he had a charioteer, I want you to tell me where you just take my father every evening. The charioteer, I promise your father not to tell anybody where I just carry you. He said, what if you want? I will carry you and show you where it's carrying. So the charioteer carried the prince where he was carried by the river. And across the river, the prince saw a young girl at the other side of the river. And the prince realized that his father has fallen in love with this young girl. And he went across the river. He spoke to her father and told him that he wanted his daughter to get married to his father. His father is the king. The father told him, he said, you are the prince. You are the eldest son of the king. So you are the heir to the throne. He said, but for me, I get my daughter married to your father, you must promise me that you will allow my grandson to become the king, not you. He said, I agree. I will not steal the throne, I will not take the throne. He said, but you are much older than my grandchildren will be. When you have children, you will be much older than my great-grandchildren. Your children will get the throne before my great-grandchildren. He said, I promise you not to get married, so I will have no children. And your great-grandchildren will succeed the throne. And so because of that promise that he gave to the girl's father, he became known as Bisham. His name was not Bisham. And the girl told him, if I go across the river, I want to bow to your feet. Because once I cross that river, I become your mother. Although I'm younger than you, I become your mother. You will have to bow to my feet. And she did that. And took her across the river, she was married to the king. In due course, she gave birth to 2 children to the king. And the king died. When the king died, they had to perform the after-death rituals like we are doing today. When they were performing the shrine, what we call the Bandara in Trinidad, the Pandit had a mantra to recite to call the priest. And when the Pandit recited the mantra, the priest, not only came, the priest appeared in a form that Bisham could have seen. And when Bisham was offering pinnas on the baby, the priest told Bisham, he said, son, don't offer the pinna on the baby, look, I have come myself. Give me the mouth to eat. And Bisham told him, Pitaji, the scriptures say that I must offer it on the median Kusras day, if you want to take it from me. He said, son, I want to bless you. I am fortunate that I have a son who will obey the laws of the scriptures. And nowadays in Trinidad in particular, nobody wants to obey the scriptures. They want to know what they want to do. They want everything done instantly. Instantly. He said, I want to bless you, that nobody will kill you. You will only die when you want to die. And as time passed, and the Mahabharata war broke out, the Pandavas and the Kauravas were the grandchildren of those two little boys. The queen gave birth to, they were the grandchildren of those two boys. War broke out between two sets of cousins for the kingdom. And we still fight in the Mahabharata war in Trinidad up to now in Sanatana Singh. House, land, money, jewels, and mutaka. The Mahabharata was about a kingdom and a treasury. We still fight in Trinidad. And when the war began, Bisham became old. So he was the brother of the Aja. So if you have the Aja, his brothers are like, we call him Aja also. So he's a born Bisham Pitama. Pitama is in Sanskrit for Aja. But he was on the side of the Kauravas, and Lord Krishna was on the side of the Pandavas in the war. In those days, war was only fought in the daytime, between sunrise and sunset. One night, Lord Krishna told the Pandavas, let them go to the camp of Bisham and ask him how to kill him. And they went. And he told them, none of you will kill me. None of you will kill me. He said, but I will not fight with a woman. It is a sin that you will not be able to repay to kill a woman. He said, I will not fight with a woman. And Lord Krishna told the Pandavas, let us go. Yudhishthira said, why have you told us how you kill him? He said, let us go. The Pandavas had a mamu. His name was Sikandi. In his previous birth, he was a woman. He was born as a woman. He was born in that birth as a man, but he will still behave like a woman. If you have a man like that still, they call him gay. You still have me like that, right? So gay is not something new in the world. It's there for a long time. And Lord Krishna dressed him next to like a woman and put him in front of the chariot of Bisham and told him to dance. When Bisham saw this person, a woman dancing in front of him, he put down his bow and arrow. And Lord Krishna told her, he said, Arjun, shoot him. This is your opportunity. You will not get this opportunity again. What Shakespeare said, the lost opportunity comes not back. Lord Krishna said that a long time before. You will not get this opportunity again, shoot him. And Arjun started to shoot Bisham with arrows. They said, so many arrows shot him between any 2 hours, little finger couldn't pass. When he could not die, when he had the blessings of his father, that nobody could kill you. You only die when you choose to die. It was that time of the year when the sun was doing Dakshinayana. It had 56 more days for the sun to do Uttarayan, which is from Makara Sankranti. And Bisham Pitama, when the war was finished, lay on a bed of arrows in the battlefield of Kurukshetra for 56 days with all that pain. And after 56 days, he gave up his life when the sun began Uttarayan. In the Gita it said, if you die when the sun is in Uttarayan, in the moonlight fortnight and the daytime, you get salvation. If you die when the sun is in Dakshinayan, when it's nighttime and dark night, you sure go to hell. So Bisham was afforded that because he obeyed the scriptures, the laws of the scriptures. And we as Sanatana Hindus, we must obey the laws of the scriptures. So today, what can we do for someone who has passed on? We perform the ritual that is necessary, what has to be done, and pray for the soul of the deceased. So at this time, let us all pray and ask that, Lord, to bless the soul of the deceased. I know this deceased was a man who read the Ramayana a lot. So Lord, I pray that Lord Vishnu in the form of Sri Ramchandra, and ask that, Lord, to accept the deceased, the heavenly abode, and to look after his soul, as we all pray. Sri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajuman Harana Bhavadai Darunam Navakanja Lochana Kanja Mukhakar Kanja Pad Kanjarunam Kandarpa Agnita Amita Chati Navanila Niranjan Sundaram Patapita Manahu Tadita Ruchi Suchi Naumi Janaka Sutavaram Vajudina Bandhu Dinesha Danav Daitya Banjani Kandanam Raghunanda Ananda Kanda Koshal Chandra Dasharata Nandanam Siramukata Kundala Tilaka Charu Udara Anga Vibhushanam Ajanu Bhuja Shara Chapadhar Sangrama Jitakar Dushanam Iti Padita Tulsi Dasa Shankar Shesha Muniman Ranjanam Mama Hridaya Kanjani Masa Guru Kamadi Kardar Kanjanam Sri Ram, Sri Ram, Sri Ram. Bole Siyala Ramchandra ki jai, Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. I see a little handout that we now have the eulogy, so those who's performed the eulogy, please come. Who's the eulogy, anybody?
I just want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for attending. And there are many hundreds of people who would like to attend because of COVID restrictions cannot do so. I also want to thank you and also a special welcome to those of you who are streaming live. As we gather here today, we are not here to mourn his passing, but we are here to celebrate his distinguished life of Harnarine Singh, better known as BoB-Bots. He was a devoted father, husband, uncle, and friend of many, all who will miss him dearly. He was my mamu, but he was not only mamu to my siblings and cousins, but to the entire village of Machin and the wider community in Charleville. He grew up in very humble beginnings and accomplished many milestones in his journey. He had an unblemished enviable state. His first career was that of a tailor, something which he mastered. He then became a market vendor in the Port of Spain market in Charlotte and George Streets. The older heads would know that there was a market there. During that time, against all odds, he was elected as treasurer. He was on the executive of the Market Vendors had an association, and he was elected as treasurer of that association. He was one of the pioneers for the vendors. He fought their case because they didn't like the terms when they were moving from the old market to the new market and beat them highway, which we know today. So he had to fight the cases as to who should be allocated what, and space, and rental, and all these things. These are things that people 3 generations down still enjoying the fruits of his labor. He is what you would call the Raja of multitasking, because in addition to this, he took on many other projects at the same time. Among the things he accomplished were, they are too numerous to mention, some will be left out. He was a founding member and president of the Marching Village Council for many years. Founding member, captain, and administrator of the Spoilers Cricket Club. I think the name is now changed. In the 60s, the village had no electricity or pipe-borne water, and he vowed that he will correct that. He made all the representation through the village council and through all the politicians and to TNTEC and WASA and so on, and nothing doing. Eventually, for the water, he was successful, but he had to provide the labor to dig the trench from Jerningham right up to Marching beyond his house, a couple 100 yards. I remember he had the villagers working there with shovels and pickaxes and forks and hoes and their bison cart toting the dirt and all these things. And they were there for days toiling. When the Wasa people came to come, they would hold the pipe for them to just stick it together. And that is all Wasa did for the village to have water. For electricity, it was very similar. They had to dig holes to plant the electricity pole. And Mamu was there, leading the way, organizing the crew to dig all the electricity. So, you know, he was what you would call the true pioneer of self-help in Trinidad and Tobago. Nobody could boast of any self-help project, true self-help project. Now we have self-help commission and all these things, which is a completely different story from that, what he did. He was also involved in many religious activities. As Pandit mentioned, he read Ramayana from end to end. He was involved in a Ramayana group with Thakurji and Teacher Indar, and I don't remember the rest of names, but I know he was there. And he is, in fact, I think he's the last surviving member of that group. They would have read Ramayana throughout the length and breadth of this country. Anywhere somebody, you know, in Hindus, when there's a death in the family, they would read Ramayana for 9 nights. And many people found it was a burden to go back to people's home, and all you get is some coffee and maybe a sandwich or some biscuits, and you have to find your own transport and everything. He did it out of the love of culture and assisting people. He was also a foundation member of the Charleville Mandir, and he continued supporting that Mandir right up to the very end. The older people would know Sibran Sadhu and so on from those days. Mamu worked with him in order to make that temple reality. In between all of this, he found time in his service to humanity to devote his time for politics. In the 1960s, he was a councillor. He was elected councillor in the Harnarine County Council. That was before the days of the borough, a position he held for 3 years. In his business life, after market vending, he was a part-time cane farmer, gardener, and a grocer in Marching Village, and later Ramsaran Street in Chabonas. Needless to say, all these ventures were remarkably successful. And at the same time, he never forgot his humble background. Friends, well-wishers, it is very difficult, if not impossible, to duplicate his life achievements, and he could rightly be described as the last of the Mohicans. As we reflect upon his life, we must remember that he has moved to another phase in his journey. As Sanatanists, we believe in reincarnation. It is like the body changing its clothes after it's old and worn out and taking on new ones. In the same way, the soul moves from one body to the next. So he has performed his duty to humanity, he has performed his duty to mankind, he has performed his duty to the community more than anybody else can boast about. So I'm sure that he is now resided in the kingdom of the Lord, and he is no doubt having a reunion with his siblings after a long time. For this, we should rejoice and be thankful and be happy. In closing, I want to point out that if the history of BoB-Bots is written for generations to come, it may be scarce to believe that one such as this ever in flesh and blood walked upon this earth. May he enjoy eternal peace and happiness. Thank you. See on the program there is open house if anybody wants to come and say a few words. I think now might be the appropriate time. Yeah, whoever.
Mr. Harnarine Singh, BoB-Bots, Mahmood, and Mr. Singh. These were the names my beloved father was known by his friends and all the villagers. I stand free, the eldest of his 6 children. I'm humbled to say goodbye to this giant of a man on behalf of my entire family and myself. I will always remember my childhood when my father ensured that all our needs were met. Dad was always patient, always understanding. He had a strong duty to his family. He was a hard worker, so his work ethic and business acumen led to his prosperity. He was always rendering assistance to someone in the village. He would always say, the good deeds you do from your heart will always follow you. We have all learned a lot from Dad. On many occasions, he would have us seated, reading the Bhagavad Gita, teaching us how to pray. He was a very knowledgeable man. Dad would always say that his reading and action would declare his way for his heavenly entrance. He repeatedly said that when he died, he will be reborn as a king. I even asked him if he would take back his same children. He only looked at me and smiled and said, I don't know. Here he lies, dressed ornately as a king, ready to enter his kingdom. Dad, we will always love you and remember you in our hearts for all the wonderful things you brought to our lives. You were a good king to us, hardworking, energetic, perfecting us and blessing us. You've completed your reigns on earth. Rest in peace. Your new kingdom awaits you.
Good day, everybody. Those who tune in online and people seated here. Well, we're going to summarize everything. So just echo, I won't echo everything because due to the sake of time. So I'll just get through my little message and I'll give you. So I am Brad, Neela's son, right? I am grateful for this opportunity to share about my grandfather, Harnarine Singh, also known as BoB-Bots. I want to start by saying he gave me the best gift in the world, which is my mom. She always say that she's his favorite. Anyways, I was just kidding. You know, the Bible says a man leaves an inheritance for his children and grandchildren. And I am thankful that my grandfather had blessed me with an inheritance, and only to do the same for generations to come. He did leave a big impact in my life. Growing up, I never really had the opportunity. I didn't have the opportunity to know.
You can do it. You can do it, Brad. Yes, you can. You can do Brad. Be strong. Brad, take a deep breath. You want you to finish it.
Alright.
He never won nothing incomplete.
I never really had the opportunity to get to know him. But a few years before I got married, every time I would come to Trinidad, I would check him. I mean, he had a lot to say. It was not mine, he was never short of words. He was really wise. I used to tell my wife, because I used to take her with me, at the time she was my girlfriend. I used to say, girl, old people are advice. I used to look and learn in all aspects of life, business, and normal. The man was just brilliant. I mean, and like I would say, I know him all my life, but I truly get to know him like about 5 years ago. When I had the power to choose a life, I went to him. I had a lot to say, but I can't say right now. But I know he's in a better place. You know, I just want to say, and when they were driving me about 2 months ago, and the relationship we had with Robin was different. It was such a joy to see them go back and forth. Like me and Rodney was there and he was like, what are you doing here? Them come to me. What are you doing here? Them come to talk to me, you stay quiet. And now I know that Robin picking him and it was just be back and forth and it was just be a lot of fun and I was glad I would cherish that memory. And next thing I want to say, me and I take him to the doctor to make sure he was in the right mind. He told the doctor who is his father and what his father did in his lifetime. The doctor was like, well, what are you doing here? Your mind sharper than mine. He was just incredible. I'm truly blessed to know a gem for a person like my grandfather. I know it would be hard for everybody because I didn't know it because passing would have affected me the way it did. Just be strong, he's in a better place. Thanks.
Good afternoon, I sit around each and every one of our family and who have been viewing on YouTube. Well, I am Mr. Harnarine Singh, better known as Mr. BoB-Bots' grandson, Scriptural Singh son. I would like to say that I am the grandson that spent probably 50 years with my grandfather, day by day, hiding me in the truck and in the flour mill. And day by day we going. And I think I would like my son
or one of my family to follow my grandfather's footsteps, because of is a man that you could never speak about or mention or finish to talk, and he was a king in all ways, and he will be in a better place. That the Lord know that, and to all the daughters and whoever had supported us during this past time, showing all the love, and all my aunties, they always remember that he loves all you, no matter what, and he's in a better place today. Right, so to my grandfather, I hope that he travel in peace and do the correct thing for him to rest in peace, and someday I'll see you again.
We have a few parts of the church to complete, so the 5 boys complete. We have the part of the shower here, and then the parts of the shower crematorium, and the things to offer. We have the manzil to do. You must understand that the end of the day, not exactly how it's done when you have an open cremation. Everything has to be done, nonetheless. We've done it differently, so like the fire. Om Bhurvas Sadhaiva Tassis Pratavir Vajani Vishyamani Aram Manadari Om Agini Mele Purohitam Yajivutavija Bhutra Vadatam Chatwari Singha Sapadu Vishis Saptahasa Sutina Vishabu Ravu Atidu Bhaktam Adi Shanti Guru Vishwasan Guru Amini Vajiche Potaron Gans Shvashman and Svadyani Shvaki Svadyani.
Focus. Coconut is right? For you, you got to open it 14 times. But it'll be fine, right? It'll be correct.
Om Yamaya Namaha Svadha, Om Dharrajaya Namaha Svadha, Om Rityuri Namaha Svadha, Om Antakaya Namaha Svadha, Om Vaivasvataya Namaha Svadha, Om Kalaya Namaha Svadha, Om Sarvabhutakshay Namaha Svadha, Om Dumbaraya Namaha Svadha, Om Daganaya Namaha Svadha, Om Nilaya Namaha Svadha, Om Paramish Namaha Svadha, Om Trikutaya Namaha Svadha, Om Chittaya Namaha Svadha, last one, Chittagutaya Namaha Svadha. Water only 5 times. Om Aginimaya Supattaraya Asman Vishwani Devayunani Vidwan Yujos Vajuhuran Lino Pushtam Namute Vilin Pilla. Deceased. Om Abukotasya Abukopretasya Nishnisana Shuret Isha Pindo Menditi Dosha. I'll hold my right side. Pindadanam Achmani Medi Doshram Transfer Pinda.
We did it? Yeah, we did.
Second Pinda. Om Adya Abukotasya Abukopretasya Dwal Darshi Pantanamit Vishnu Deva Tova Ishati Pindo Medi Dosha. Water. Pindadanam Achmani Medi Doshram. Let's move it a bit on the hand side. Third Pinda. Om Adya Abukotasya Abukopretasya Chatwari Kichanamit Ishati Pindo Medi Dosha. Ava. Water. Pindadanam Achmani Medi Dosha. Fourth Pinda.
Right it?
Yes.
Om Adya Amkutasya Kapitasya Vishwanta Bhutanam Ruta Deva to Vashapin Mediti Tostamova. Water. Pindanam Ashwin made it to Topishram, 15th.
That's right. We put the rest.
Om Adya Amkutasya Kapitasya Shavahasi Sarakavit Preta Deva to Ishati Pindomedi Tosam. That's right. Water. Pindanam Ashwin Tosam. Pinda for a secondary ceremony. This pin that we will offer already supposed to be offered in normal funeral tomorrow. But we do funeral cremation site, so we offer it one time today. Om Amkutasya Amkutasya Pritwan Vikyartam Shamshan Vasi Byu Devta Byu Bodhartam Pindaha Pranartham Ukumbasya Upasham. Water. Pindanam Atmedi Topasham. Okay, let us all stand again at this time. Those of you who stand. If you guys stand, you will be seated. And we will be closing prayer. Let us pray to our Lord. You should all pray your own words. You will make the stand with us. All our very sincere to the Lord on behalf of the departed soul. And by the soul of the deceased, we can pray again. The soul needs the prayer from others to help it to its way. And remember, one day, your body will also lie in a coffin, and you will need the prayers of others. Let us pray. Om Prehi Pritani Puryanayina Te Purtvi Pitara Paritaha Umarajana Swadayam Badanto Yavam Pashyasi Varunam Cha Divam Om Yamodo Gatum Pratabo Vinid Naisha Gabyutira Pavartau Yatranaha Purva Pitara Paritaha Inaha Yagyana Patya Anaswa Om Samgachasya Prithvi Samyamin Ishtapurtvin Paramin Vyomatman Hitva Yavaram Punarasute Mahi Sangachantya Tanva Suvarnacha Om Surya Chakshu Gachantu Vatama Padramcha Gacha Pratmicha Dharmana Apua Gacha Yunitatati to Aushiti Pratitishtarire Om Suma Eki Yaha Pavati Vritabek Upasati Yebyo Madhu Pradavati Tamisri Vapi Gachantat Omanadini Garu Devaha Shanka Chakra Galadara Akshaya Pundaro Kaksha Prita Muksha Pado Baba Atasita Pushpasankasam Pitavasavachudam Yenamasyanti Govindam Nati Shabdate Bhayam Om Krishna Krishna Kripalo Tamagatirim Gati Baba Sansaranam Mamam Prasiddhi Purushotamam Om Narayan Sudashishta Lakshmi Kanta Varvara Arina Tarpin Naiva Preta Muksha Padua Preta Muksha Padua Preta Muksha Padua Boliye Vrindavan Bihari Rama Ki Jai Ram Nam Satya Hai Ram Nam Satya Hai Ram Nam Satya Hai. We have now come to the end of the ceremony. Those of you who like to pay a final respects can come now, do not, and then we have to do the 5 manzil, because we cannot stop the 3 manzil on the road and so on. So, before we leave, we do the 5 manzil.
We could end the instrument.
Buru's Funeral Home, a leader in the funeral industry for over 25 years, is now at number 2 Southern Main Road, Cunupia. At Buru's, you are assured quality service and affordable funeral packages so that your loved ones get the send-off they deserve. Buru's can ship and receive worldwide. When the inevitable occurs, you can rely on Buru's Funeral Home, funeral directors and embalmers. Now at number 2 Southern Main Road, Cunupia. 24-hour service available. Phone 370-8036. Buru's Funeral Home, a leader in the funeral industry.